thick of insulation we put in?
That board's a home I can measure. I think it's
Okay.
mile wide tornado.
Yeah, it was clear on radar. Would you like some ice?
Yeah, that's a new Illinois state record, 5-inch.
That was taken by a buddy of mine.
Oh, and that's what they get. That might be a different one, but they did get a new Illinois state record this year, or just today, 5 inches hailstone.
Yeah. So, anyway, holy crap! -30s for the next few days. I'm sorry, Andy. Anyway. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Patriot Patch Company and Camerado.com. How's everybody tonight?
Good.
Doing good.
So, 6-pack project, neither. And yes, that was big hail down in Illinois. So, they actually had it show up on radar, the tornado. So, yeah, no fun.
-30. Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll take this 80-degree weather we got today.
I'll take the 50-degree weather we got today.
Yeah, and then freezing rain tonight.
Like we cool off next week, I think, though.
So, yeah, no fun. Excuse me. Here's the lightning pattern. So, just a little bit of lightning out there. Anyway. So yeah, if Ken or I disappear, that's why. So, but for the most part, it looks like it's north and south of us. Not going to get here till later tonight. So, oh, good, Red Wings finally scored. Anyway. So, what's everybody been up to?
Traveling the countryside, selling houses, and you name it.
Sounds good.
Yep. At least we're under contract on our Illinois house. I think we close end of March. So
nice.
As long as a tornado don't take it out between now and then.
Yeah. But you guys were south of that, right?
Yeah, way south.
Yeah,
of
we're way south. They went north.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good news is anybody at Soldiers Field is safe.
They got a concert or something tonight?
No, there's no touchdowns that happen there.
Oh, geez.
Oh, boo.
Oh, jeez.
I can't believe you walked into that, Nick.
I am
Suck it,
embarrassed. Don't
Bears.
worry about it.
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm sitting here going, "Oh, this is going to be stupid."
So there you go. Maybe the Packers can go get Crosby then.
No.
Let's say,
you
wait a
don't
minute,
need
didn't the
Crosby.
Packers lose at Soldier Field this year?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, so
they didn't score any touchdowns. So more proof there wasn't any touchdowns at Soldier Field. Anyway, maybe the Packers can go get Crosby now since they
No.
traded Rashawn Gary away and let Quay Walker leave. And
Hey, we got another Super Bowl MVP on our roster, so
yeah, I saw that. Piss off. Shucks.
How
Are you
they
hoping to
work
go?
I have no idea how they made that happen. I
don't
never
either.
thought I'd see it.
So Running with Scissors wants to give a big shout out to his buddy. Made me 100 count, 6'5", needs more reloading block. And just to be a smart ass. This is how you know he's a buddy, because he made it for him and then he made it pink. So he said he'll use it too. Of course, I'd use a pink reloading block. I don't care what color it is. I don't know if I'd admit to having a 6'5" needs more block, but you know.
Don't you own a 6'5" Creedmoor, Mike?
I cannot confirm or deny that.
Yeah, so that's a yes.
I just said I wouldn't admit to owning a reloading block.
Yeah.
So I can't confirm or deny if I have a 6'5" Creedmoor either.
I'm just waiting for my dang suppressor to get out of jail.
How long you been waiting?
3 days.
Ooh.
Well, that's not bad.
Saturday at noon. Breathe, sir. Breathe.
You haven't done any of your SBRs yet?
Nope. That's nice.
Did you put it in a
Of course
trust,
they
or
did.
are you? Is it in a trust?
Not yet. I'm gonna get all the ones I want, main ones I want, and then we're gonna do a trust. We're gonna get a trust with all of our NFA stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore because there's no tax stamp.
Exactly. That's why we figure we'll get.
Or there's
one,
no
and then-
tax fee. Hey,
Yeah.
Did you see what West Virginia and the Gun Owners of America are trying to do?
Yes, I'm excited to see where that goes.
Did you see that, Ken?
I did. I don't remember what it was specifically, though.
Okay, so the NFA allows, and the Hughes Amendment allows states. I suppose I probably shouldn't be showing that on TV. YouTube will freak. Anyway, allows states to sell post-86 machine guns to the public. So West Virginia might be getting in the machine gun business. So the question then would be,
You can manufacture it then if it gets rid of the Hughes.
so then the question would be, is if it's made in West Virginia and then sold in West Virginia to a West Virginian, theoretically, or I don't know if they could sell to anybody. But then once it's sold, is it on the registry and can be sold to anybody?
Well, it doesn't it doesn't change the Hughes Amendment. It just means basically what it does is, if I remember correctly, the explanation that I saw was essentially is the state gets to sell it and it doesn't change any law. It doesn't change any. So essentially it just allows the state has the right to sell these, right?
Right.
Under the current law. Now, obviously, it's going to get challenged in court.
Right.
You know, just because, oh my God, you know, state's selling, you know. And I tell you what, if they do that, you know, Texas and Florida are going to follow pretty damn fast.
Right.
You'll have a lot of states
you'll
follow.
I don't think you'll have a big rush for the states to start selling, but who knows? But I mean, it's a revenue source.
So Six Pack Project said it has to do with the fact that post-86 samples can be owned by a government agency and they can choose to dispose of them when needed. And he said all the bill does is set how the state will dispose of them.
But the law itself says that they have the ability to sell it.
Right.
So the NFA actually has a way to sell post 86 machine guns to essentially you wouldn't necessarily need the your FFL and have all of you wouldn't need the correct FFL to own them, right?
Right. You wouldn't have to have an SOT to own them.
Mm-hmm.
Like currently. So if that's the case, and West Virginia finds it's legal, and then once they're the biggest question isn't whether West Virginia can sell them to individual citizens. That's clearly stated. They can clearly do that. The question is, once they do that, is it now a fully transferable machine gun? You're muted, Nick.
Well, I know I'm talking to my dad about something.
He's weather watching.
I'm weather watching too. I'm addicted to weather.
Well, it's a pretty important thing.
I just was not math smart enough to go into weather.
So
yeah, I doubt it's I mean, it may be transferable, maybe, but
that's
I think
going to be the big question.
As soon as you start trying to transfer across straight lines, that's going to be the big.
Obviously,
because here's the thing:
all...
the state has the right to sell it, but does now the individual who bought it from the state have the right to resell it?
That's the question.
And I would say that would fall under the same conditions in which all other current, because the NFA doesn't have that carve out for the individual; it has it only for the state.
Well, the Hughes Amendment, not the NFA itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
because remember, the original NFA...
The amendment's part of the NFA. It's not the original.
It's an amendment to the NFA.
Yeah.
So
which
it's an add-on.
Adds to it. It amends it. It's still part of
Right.
it. It's not part of the original law, but it is part of the NFA now.
Because, part of the original. So
yeah, I would say no, that it
Six
would
Pack
not
Project
likely...
said, wouldn't be the first time government agencies have sold to the public on post-86 items. They become transferable. Last one was a batch of MP5s.
Okay.
So, and Paul, he said they have to be a West Virginia resident to buy it, which would make sense. But he said a pro second person put it on hold going through their Senate. Obviously, he's not or she, or it, as the case may be, is not a pro second person. Because if they were a pro second person, they would have put it through. They're I support the Second Amendment, but person, which is not a Second Amendment supporter, in my opinion. But speaking of Second Amendment and NFA, we're going to talk about subsonic ammo tonight. Why is subsonic ammo important?
For hearing. Stage your hearing for sure.
I don't need subsonic to protect my hearing, and I'm not even talking about wearing hearing protection. I just need a good suppressor.
What is the point of having subsonic ammo? Other than, like, say, factory loads, like a 19 or a 45 ACP, that type of thing. Like, what's the point of having a subsonic 5.56 or a subsonic 308 or a subsonic 30.30 or a subsonic 300 blackout or 8.6 blackout? Or what's the point?
To avoid the crack of breaking sound barrier.
Correct. Also,
well, okay, my quiet follow-up then to Ray's comment is why? Why would we want to avoid that crack? What's the benefit?
Well, if the main point of having subsonic ammo is to run through a can, also known as a silencer, according to Hiram Maxim, or suppressors, according to the general lexicon. And subsonic What?
I was gonna say homeowners around ranges, they don't have to listen to the pop of the crack all day long.
Mhm.
If you're
Okay.
Home defense.
That's what makes 22s so loud is the supersonic crack. So, but the main point is so that your silencer will be quieter for two things. One, you're not dealing with a supersonic crack. And two, subsonic loads generally run a lower pressure, which allows the silencer to function better and mitigate the sound better. You look like you're looking at something, Ken.
So my camera's here. My screen is here.
Aha. So
So I'm not. I'm actually looking at you.
my screen's like this. So every once in a while you see me looking way over there. It's because I'm looking at something up another corner.
I got
That's
a
what
screen.
happens when you
I
use
got
it.
a screen right here. I got a screen right here, and my camera's in between them.
Yeah.
So
I have a 55-inch screen.
I've only got two 34s.
Rookies. I don't know. I miss having two screens, but this is nice having one big one now that I know how to assign them to corners. So the only problem is the browsers don't scale properly.
You might be able to
You don't have that
download a
problem.
program called Display Fusion and like set up a
Because if I don't have like this, my main screen is the Streamlabs, the Talk Studio, and if I don't have that expanded out right, I can't see everything and access everything. So anyway, so when you're looking at making a subsonic load, what do you do?
typically have your bullet or powder charge.
What happens if you don't get the powder charge right?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
Well,
Well, if you go hotter, you're going to push the bullet faster, so it won't be subsonic.
Mm-hmm.
So more pressure.
Squibs.
Yeah, if you go lower,
sure.
you'll have a squib. Yeah.
Squibs. I mean, if you're not over pressuring it right, but you've got too hot of a load, you're not going to get a subsonic, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the big
there's an
concern,
extreme high and extreme low kind of
Yeah.
thing on subsonic. Yeah,
but you've got more room for mistake on the low end
absolutely.
and having something that could be catastrophic than you will on the high end, because for one, you know that I'm loading this up. I know what a supersonic load should be. You're going below usually what the standard book would be, because most of the time the book is going to be a load for a supersonic, right? Unless you've got somebody that's got subsonic production first. Also, finding information on subsonic loads is a lot more difficult than it is on standard sonic loads. If we're talking like a bottlenecked cartridge type, a lot of times you're going to have there are some 30-30 loads out there that are subsonic just because they're subsonic, right? They're a factory subsonic load, or you're even reloading, but you're not, you've got a real heavy bullet and it's just, you're going to overpressure to try to get it to go supersonic.
Yeah, that's like I'm getting ready to do 300 blackout once my can gets out of jail. That's the first one I'll be messing with. I'm going to start with published data from like Hornady or Hodgdon. Start there, and then if it runs in the gun, then I'll start playing with my load a little bit, try to optimize it for my can, for the pistol or rifle or whatever I'm shooting it out of, just so I can optimize it better. But I want to start with published data first, just to do it there and see how it runs.
Well, and I think so. There's three things you got to take into factor: your bullet, your bullet, your powder. You're also limiting yourself on powders, effective
Mhm.
powders that you're going to use. While with the supersonic load, you're going to have a wide range of powders that are available, right? You can pretty much find probably any particular standard bullet for supersonic load. You can probably find 20 different powders out there that would absolutely work just fine, right? Whereas a subsonic load, you're going to find 5 or 6 that are going to really effectively use based on your bullet size. But you also have to account, and this is something that a lot of people had not accounted for until the last probably 5-10 years, is your twist rate on the barrel.
Yeah.
The only guys that cared about twist rate on barrels for the longest time were, the high end shooters, the bench rest guys, the F class guys, right? Because everybody's like, oh, most people didn't even know what their twist rate was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking on the Hornady manual right now at it's our 225, but you can use it probably very similar to 220 grain. Because I've been looking at the Berries 220 grainers. Accurate number 9, little gun, Liant 2400, H110, Winchester 296, Vitavori N110, IMR 4227, Vitavori N120, accurate 5744, and accurate 1680. Which, if you look at about half of these, like 2400, 4227, and 5744, are the same powders I use for my cast bullets.
Mm-hmm.
When I have tons of that, which is nice. And you're using, and not being this published data from Hornady, I can put out there for 2400 using 7 grains, 4227, 7.8, and accurate 5744, you're at 9. So it's like you're using very little powder, which is good because
Nick,
you'll want.
How many of your cast bullets are you running? You're likely hitting subsonic speeds with.
I guarantee you most of them. I haven't. Well, hang on. Actually, I tell you.
How many are actually getting the crack? Right. I mean.
Yeah. For my Argentine, I'm moving pretty good. I'm moving at 2,600 feet per second.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Is it your cast bullets? You're going to commonly be more at a lower speed with those than you would with.
Yeah, these ones they're powder coated and they're gas checked, so I'm pushing them a little bit faster just so I can see if I can reach the velocity. I think those are my.
What is supersonic? 1200.
Hang on, actually.
1250 generally is a good. Obviously, it varies, and there's a few things that can adjust it some up or down, but generally 1250 is. Or 1250 or 1150, maybe. I'm trying to remember.
1116.
I take that back. I was wrong.
Yeah,
those were factory loads.
I think most places rated at 1250, right? As a general rule.
That was factory loads. That I was saying, Ken. So I have a 5-shot group with my powder load and my cast bullets. I'm averaging 1487. So I'm a little bit above that. I'm like right at that cusp. I could probably knock 1.5 grains, and I'd probably get below, or maybe 2. But it's such an accurate load, because I'm getting a standard.
Well, you're looking for accuracy in that load.
And I've met all 3 on this load. I've met accuracy, I've met a good velocity, and a good standard deviation and spread. I got a standard deviation of 15, an extreme spread of 45.
But you're not going to suppress this guy.
No, of course not.
No.
The only mill I would suppress is a Swedish M96, if I could find one with threaded muzzle, because they were threaded originally. Some were threaded. My Rashid, maybe. It's a threaded barrel. I probably wouldn't, because it's weird to get gas on it. And then I think a Hakeem. There's only like 3 or 4 that I have that are actually threaded originally that I would potentially. But exactly why.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that your most of your cast bullets are within a couple hundred feet per second of subsonic?
Absolutely, yeah. Most of what we shoot with this 30 cal, 311, 312 cast bullet are going to be around that 1400 or less. Is what we're shooting.
Yeah. So, and that would explain why the powders that you're already using are
Yeah.
readily available. And somebody who's doing a lot of 308 or other similar chamberings probably aren't going to have those readily in their stockpile.
308, 200.
Now your 30-30 reloaders would probably have something, because I'm guessing 30-30 is probably not that far off of what you would be using. They might have some crossover there.
308.
Maybe.
I'm headed to look that up here. So
See, that can give you a full out subsonic load. Yeah, it's like Hornady doesn't even give a subsonic load in their book
For 308.
for a 308, and I'm at 220 grain, or the highest they go. So that's 308.
Well, and like with a 220 grain 308, you're still trying. A lot of times that is a target load. That is not a hunting load, right? That's you're trying to push out to say that 1,000 yards, 600 to 1,000 yards, and you're trying to kind of push that bullet out there. And you want to. Your reason why you're going so heavy is you want to retain velocity over distance versus going something smaller that's going to lose. Well, it might be faster to start with. It's going to lose a lot more velocity downrange.
Yeah. Which that gets
So-
me kind of excited to try this now, because having those 3 powders, quite a bit of it on hand.
What's that one reloading app you use? Rogers? The one.
Gordon's.
Gordon's
Gordon's
I can
reloading
put
tool?
anything in
That'd be a
Gordon's.
good tool to work with.
Gordon's is a great tool. I have it, love it. I haven't used it a lot because most of my stuff's the same loads for most of the milsurps I'm shooting. But I'm definitely going to be using Gordon quite a bit probably when I get into subsonic load stuff.
Well, and I do know with like 300 blackout, there's quite a bit of data out there. It's been around long enough. Enough people have been reloading it that there's good data. But let's say you went with an 8.6 blackout, right?
Absolutely.
Your data that's available. It's still available, but it's a lot narrower over pool.
Mhm.
And
I think
let's
what's
say
going to get good on that is it just got became Sammy spec a week or 2 ago, I think.
Okay.
I think it just got picked up by Sammy, which is good for 8.6. So I think, and then now I think Federal, Hornady, and some of these other companies are going to start making 8.6 blackout in the factory. So that's going to really open it up, and then people will really start doing more of this. Like I've been today and yesterday. Yeah, I've been listening to all the old Johnny's Reloading Bench videos on subsonic stuff that's 4 or 5 years old, and of course Gavin, and just trying to learn as much, because of course this will be my first. I have my other about 5.56, but that one's going to be shooting just standard 55 grain projectile stuff. But this will be really the first can I'll be messing with, like hand load stuff or subsonic 300 blackout, stuff like that.
Well, I know. So for me, the only thing I'm really loading that's subsonic is going to be 9mm, and that's and I'm not loading that because I'm trying to cut sound. It's more of for competition, so it's a really specific.
If you're
use
loading
case.
147 grain, you're going to be subsonic with a factory load.
Yeah.
Or if you grab 147
Yes.
grain off the shelf, you'll be subsonic. In
Yeah.
fact, 115 grain is right on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So supersonic is 1116 at sea level. It's 1113 at 860 feet. In the
That's
show
where
notes, I'll include the chart.
Most of your subsonic ammo is like 1050, right? 1040, 1050, 1060, right? That's where they'll
Right.
be at.
Now, the problem is the higher you go, the slower the speed of sound is. So if you go, say you're at 2,400 feet at a 50-degree temperature, you're looking at 1107. And then you get all the way up to 6,500 feet, or let's say 5,700 feet, so Denver. Sorry, unfortunately, they believe in using pop-up ads, and I don't have the pop-up blocker on this browser. So
You're still probably over 1,100 feet per second.
ten
Or
ninety one.
just under
1094.
1091.
So
1094. Still, if you're looking, to keep it, I mean, obviously, if you're
most of
looking for a wide range where that will stay subsonic, you target 1050, right?
Yeah, if you were going to shoot for a number 1050, you'd be on the safe side. So like 3030, the only bullet. So Hodgdon has subsonic loads on their website now for their reloading data. Now for 3030, the only bullet weight they say for subsonic is 175 grain. The powders are Benchmark, H322, H4895, Tight Group, and Trail Boss. I have Tight Group, so in fact, I'm staring at it right now because I was just loading some 9 up. That's what I use for my 9. So they're using a 175 grain Hornady Sub X, and they're using 7.4 grains of Tight Group, and it's going 1071.
What barrel length?
24.
24. So most people are going to be running a lot shorter barrel than that.
Yeah, my lever
For
gun's not that long.
Yeah.
Right. Now I need to know how much those bullets cost, and if I can use them in a lever gun.
So I know that a lot of the big question is going to be for a lot of shooters is going to be twist rate, right? Because you're going a heavier bullet, right? Well, no. I mean, but in general, you're running a heavier bullet, and you're going to need that faster twist rate to be able to stabilize it.
168.
And that's why you're seeing like the 8.6 blackouts. They're running what 1 in 3 twist. Out of like a 12 to 16 inch barrel, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
You have to put a filler in there.
And
So
I think
I'm
that's
looking
like. Go ahead, Nick.
Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
I'm just looking at 308 subsonic stuff on Hodgdon. For 168 grain Sierra Match King, they have Tight Group, 8 grains. You'd probably want to put a filler in there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have to.
I'm
going to have to with the 30. If I use Tight Group with my 3030, I'll have to as well.
I think any of these you'd have to put some sort of little filler in there.
I think you're going to want polyfill and not cornmeal.
Absolutely, yeah, I do polyfill. That's on most of my rifle cases. I do polyfill. It just helps that powder stay down. I'd try this accurate 5744 load, 10.8 grains, right at 1033. You're very low pressure, which is nice. 1400 or 14,000.
So if I want to run 150 grain, my only option is Trail Boss.
Please. It's the same 4 powders, really.
For 308 or for 300 blackout.
Oh no, we get some more up here. 190 Trail Boss.
No, I wanted to see about 150 grain. So
there you go. Nice H4895 load with the 175 grain Sub X.
about 190.
Can you imagine how quiet?
190, there's a lot
that
more.
would be?
190, I can use IMR 4227, and I got plenty of that.
Hey, there we go. There's how we can shoot our FR8 and not kill our shoulder.
What?
We have a Spanish FR8. It's, I would say, about the size of an M1 carbine.
Yeah.
And 308 Winchester.
It's
The
a
thing kicks like crazy. So we're like,
We did some Trail Boss loads in. It was fine.
yeah. Is it threaded? I know it's got that muzzle brake.
For 30-06, it's 10 grains of
Oh my gosh.
Tight Group. So I can load 700 bullets out of a pound.
That's why I'll probably start shooting quite a bit of suppressed, especially 300 blackout, because brass will be free. You're talking maybe 10 to 15 cents in the powder. Your primer's 7 cents. And I was just looking, I can get the berries 220 grain bullets on Midway right now for 26 cents a piece. So I'm like 50 cents for a nice, fun little plink and load.
So Powder Valley has the 175 grain sub X for 41.41 right now for 100.
Yeah.
Subsonic expanding bullets. So those would be perfect for hunting.
Oh, I just got a notification, Mike. It's due to medical concerns that arose during the physical. Which made sense. He's been injury prone for a couple of years.
Well, they parked him
Yeah, that too.
the end of last season. The other nice thing I like about Hodgdon is they have reduced recoil now.
Yeah, I saw that. I was looking at that.
So if you're shooting a 6.5 needs more and you need to protect your shoulder, you can load 120 grain bullets.
That's one thing I'm
with
excited
the
to try
reduced
because
recoil.
I've never shot my 6.5 with a suppressor, of course.
Ooh, reduced recoil 30-30. That's fun.
And I've heard that
125 and 150 grain.
that a suppressor kind of takes away some of the felt recoil,
It does.
which would be nice.
You-
Even though
you
it doesn't,
think- you
it
think
doesn't
it
recoil.
kicks?
No, it doesn't. But
Reduced recoil 303 British.
oh, geez, I don't need that. The only thing I'd shoot that in.
You don't need it with 6.5 Creedmoor.
No, that's what I said.
No, 6.5 is nice flat, but it really what it's good for is it'll help keep when you're in your scope, keep you on target. That's where I could see it really being helpful.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but most of the guys that are really worried about staying in their scopes aren't going to like a 120 grain bullet.
Yeah, well, I'm not worried about the subsonic. I'm more worried just, of course, the quietness, staying on the gun a little bit more, not the scope jumping up in the sky or anything. But I don't shoot my Creedmoor enough as it is, so can't tell last time I shot it.
So, 6-pack project is saying you won't need filler because it's about 30% case fill. The reason I'm using filler is because when I lay it down, I don't want the powder laying at the bottom of the case.
Yeah, it probably feels so cheap. It's
Because there's a good chance
gonna
with only a 30% case fill,
Yeah.
that you could light that puppy from the front instead of the back. And running with scissors said no filler either.
So I just pulled up Hornady's 12th edition on my phone here. They're 190 grain sub X for 300 blackout. So their min load is starting at about 1,000 feet per second. Verie N120 at 10 grains. Accurate LT30 11.3, accurate 2200 12.5. So I mean these are just using a little bit more powder than as far as, so you're gonna get a little bit more case fill. But that's 190 grain sub X bullet. So
He's saying because it's a fast burning pistol powder that you don't need the filler.
There's one.
I would use the filler for more consistency.
I would put in there just the consistency plus keep the powder evenly spread against the flash hole.
Well, that's part of consistency.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you don't, if you're just decking around, I guess you don't, bother with a filler. But I'm not just decking around. I'm going to use these for hunting, so I want consistency. I want to make sure that it's as accurate as possible.
Are we talking about 300 blackout, or what are we talking about? Are we talking 300?
I was talking about 300 blackout.
I mean, like, are we? Like,
Either way,
I could see it.
so 300 blackout. Well, I was talking about 30-30 for needing
Yeah.
filler for
No, yeah,
300
you are.
blackout, I don't think you would.
No, I don't. Yeah, absolutely not on 300 blackout. But like on 308, 30, 30-06, I would want a filler. You have
Yeah.
such a long case body.
Well, and of course we're talking about the older ones, but I mean, you got the 338 Whisper
Yep.
out there, and then of course the new Hornady offering in 338 Arc, which actually has a case that really makes a lot of sense for this particular load because it's a smaller case in general, right? So you're going to get, probably have a little bit more flexibility in what you're loading with, just because your pressures are going to be a little bit higher because you're going to have kind of that smaller case, and you'll be able to, but without like having massive pressure issues, right? I mean, you're still not pushing it that hard.
Hey Nick, what berries are you going to use? 220.
More likely either the 200 or the 220 grain.
Okay, I was just checking because they don't have a 200. They don't have a 200 listed for the Hodgdon.
Yeah, and I noticed that. Neither does Hornady, which is odd.
Now for the 220 grain, they don't list tight group, so that wouldn't be an issue. $220 grain in the 300 blackout, they list. A couple of accurates.
Yeah, so I'm either going to go with a 200 or 220, either one of those.
For Hodgdon, they list CFE Black, H110, H40 198, and Little Gun.
Yeah. I haven't decided what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go to the shop that sells all our that I get the good reloading.
IMR. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the shop that has all the reloading components. Probably this weekend. I might run there and see what they have.
So Nick, are you planning on running just subsonic only?
No, I'm gonna start just to make sure the can functions, make sure no issues with the can. I have just PPU super. I'm gonna try. If the shop that has the can right now has some subsonic stuff in, when I go to pick it up, I'll probably pick some factory subsonic stuff up just to try it. But that's the plan. So, or if the shop that has the reloading components, if they have some subsonic, I should have bought the subsonic ammo that when they had it last. They had the I think the 200 grain SMB ammo, the one with the blue label, in recently, and it sold out. But it was a good price. I should have bought some. But but no, it will not be strictly subsonic. It will be a sub and supers. I think it's, if I remember, 10.5-inch barrel is what I got on that.
So one question I would have is I wouldn't expect you to have too much issues. So most of the rounds that I'm running are in a direct blowback that I'm reloading, right, versus a gas operated. And the one gas operated rifle I'm using is 100% supersonic. So the question I would have then would be, what's the likelihood that you may run into functioning issues with say like a 300 blackout at the lower pressures, being able to making sure the gun cycles properly? Do you need an adjustable gas block?
You talking
if
to
you
me?
do get one from Rifle Speed, yeah. He's talking about.
Right now, I'm not. I might even. So I want to try it first, and if I'm getting issues with gassing stuff like that, I probably will have to put an adjustable gas block on it.
If you're gonna get the Rifle Speed.
Yeah, I just don't feel like spending $200. That's the thing.
Oh, it is so worth it though.
I know.
You didn't have to spend the $200 on the tax stamp.
If I'm going to, I'm buying a new barrel. I'm going to shorten the barrel. I'll put an 8.5-inch barrel on it. It's where the barrel just comes out the outside of the handguard. If I'm buying the gas block, I might as well buy a new barrel and sell
Okay.
it.
So the question with the PCC, 8-inch barrel suppressed that is reliable, that's going to come down to you're probably going to want to make sure that you're not running a super heavy bolt, right? And where your reliability is going to come out, it's going to be your buffer, right? So how much energy is getting absorbed by that buffer? Do you need a heavier buffer? Do you need a lighter buffer? I can't answer that because personally can't answer that specifically because I never played with running an 8-inch barrel. But I mean, I run a JP with their low mass thing. I run a heavy. I'm running 147 grain bullets. Depending on, I've ran it down as low as just under 500 feet per second. I ran reliably enough, but I wasn't willing to test it in a match. So I'm running somewhere between 750 and 850 feet per second. I haven't chronographed it in a while. I know it runs reliably. For what I'm doing, I'm running 2.8 grains of N320 and 147 grain bullet. At some point, I'm going to play with running a lighter bullet faster. Main reason why I'm running that particular load is it'll function in a regular pistol versus as well, right? For PCC in competition, if you have two factors. If you're going to have a match that's chronographed, obviously you're going to need to be able to make your power factor, whatever that is, whether you're running a lighter bullet at a higher speed or a heavier bullet at a slower speed. That factor. Now, running it in Steel Challenge, I don't get chronographed, so I'm running below what would be considered minor power factor. Now, I know exactly what I need to do to make minor power factor. In my particular, in actually two different guns, and it probably hold up pretty much true in similar builds, is 3.2 grains of N320. So, but generally the PCC, because it's a direct blowback, your main concern with going too slow is going to be the squibs. That's going to be your real concern. Your twist rate's not as important with a PCC. And, depending on what you're loading, I mean, if you're pushing 1,000 feet per second with 140 plus grain bullet, you're not gonna to squib, and you're still subsonic, right? Now, if you get down into the 115s, which is a more common load, you may start running into energy issues being able to cycle the gun. And at that point, you're going to need to play with the buffer and stuff like that. So if you were I would say if you are going to build a home defense PCC with a short barrel suppressor, I would go run a heavier bullet and not worry about having the energy issues.
That's what I see
Because
most
you
people
can run
running. Yeah, most people are building PCCs, subgun, like PCCs. They're running, a 147, if not higher. That's what most people are running. Yeah, like that John Lavalette just said, 147 blue bullets. That's one I see a lot of guys using, especially for like just a nice, fun plinking toy out of the range, like a little PCC, cast bullet, powder coated bullets. You can load those on the cheap and just have fun. Yeah.
So most of your PCC branded ammo that's designed, quote unquote, factory designed for is running like a 132. It's fairly common. But generally, you're gonna, if you're running a heavier bullet, you're not gonna have the issues with it cycling. And you can run it up there. You can actually get, say push that 1050 somewhere in that range you can push that bullet pretty good, right? And still be subsonic. I mean, and not even get close to being supersonic. So that would be my straight up is like, you're going to be running at least 3.2 grains of, and the only reason I'm using verie is because that's what I load with. There's plenty of other options, but you can get it very, very similar, right? Verie, you're going to start at 3.2 and go up for like a home defense type load. Whether you're running one of the other ones, you're very similar. You're going to start, you're going to be able to get it to cycle no problem with book loads, right? And to be honest, you're probably never going to need to push it above a book load in a PCC. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to do it. I mean, you can do it for fun, obviously, at your own risk, but a book load is going to work fine and you're going to cycle it just fine. And it doesn't matter what the barrel length is, because reliability is just about it. The reliability isn't dependent on the barrel length.
No. But which powder your firearm likes can be. Raggle Fraggle was saying over in Discord, he found with the 300 blackout, it's barrel length that dictates your best powder. Like his 10.5 likes 4227 and 1680, and his buddy's 16-inch does better with H110. He also said anybody in the Baton Rouge area, this weekend is the Hunting and Outdoors Expo. Maybe Phil can hop in his two-wheel drive truck and chuck over there. So, but yeah, he wanted to say that. So,
on the barrel length, and that partially is dependent because like your barrel length is going to be dependent on the powder, right? And are you actually burning your powder out before you get how much barrel's coming out the barrel that's not burnt, right? Because that's right. That's another question, right? Which listen, powder flying out the end of the barrel is no big deal. Who cares, right? Unless you're standing in front of it, but then you're already screwed. So
exactly. Hi, Vanessa. So. And
I suppose if you had unburnt powder and it's ending up in your suppressor, that could start to become an issue.
Yeah, that's what you're going to worry about is getting unburnt powder in the suppressor, because it's going to do one of two things. Either it's going to cause clogs and restrict the airflow and causing extreme back pressure, or it's going to ignite in the can and heat the can up even faster.
So no matter what you're doing, if you're running a can, obviously you're going to want to make sure that, and that's where Gordon's reloading tool will help you, because one of the things it tells you is, all right, how much powder is burnt at what distance? At what distance are you out of powder completely, right? Essentially, you've burnt all that powder up. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the important thing is because once the powder's burned up, you're no longer gaining additional pressure on the bullet, right? Now the bullet may not really be slowing down at that point, and it still may be gaining speed, but that pressure is no longer building behind the bullet. You don't have that continuous push, right? So the bullet's really dependent on its momentum and energy that is currently there. An 8-inch barrel, you're probably, that's why part of the reason you're going with such a small charge is, you're not getting any additional benefit because the powder is probably still not burnt at that distance.
Right. You said they were using 132 grain projectile for 9mm PCC loads.
So yeah, that's a pretty common one. A lot of your PCC manufacturers don't like it when you run the heavier bullets. They don't actually recommend it. Mm-hmm. I don't.
Well, it's like the everybody beats up High Point, but the High Point 9mm carbines originally designed for 115 grain.
Well, I think part of the problem is if you're running a higher capacity magazine. So I had my first PCC was narrow precision PCC.
Yeah.
Turns out if you run a 40 round magazine with 147, 150 grain bullets, it forces the magazine to sit too low and you get feed issues.
Ah.
Now, that you get feed issues with some bullets. If I was using a standard full metal jacket, it would feed fine. But if it had a flat nose, it would not feed well. Right after you got probably about 12 rounds in it, it started to sink. My JP ran the 40 round magazines, no problem. Now currently, I don't use the higher magazines. I actually run. They're 17 round mags, and for what I'm using them for, I only load them up to 10 rounds, but that's because I am cutting weight in the gun specifically for speed. Right. So I'm more worried about, and if you're shooting Steel Challenge, if you're going through 10 rounds, that string is already crap.
Yeah.
So it doesn't benefit me to be able to do that. So usually about the time if I pulled the trigger like 7 or 8 times, I'm just gonna slow down and shoot the stop plate or and just end it and move on, right? So I don't need the higher magazines, but that is a concern with some PCCs, especially if you're running the heavier bullets because you're adding even more weight. And if you're running like a home defense load, that's going to have the same problem as the flat nose bullets that I was running in mine, right? So now when you get a certain amount of weight, it would set down. Now there are ways around adjusting that, and I don't know if the newer Aero Precision still have that problem. This was a problem that was 4 years ago that I dealt with, so it may have been adjusted for them.
That's providing Aero's actually making them.
Yeah, providing it, but so there's a couple ways around it in a PCC where you can deal with feed issues. One, some barrels for PCCs have a regular, like a pistol feed ramp, right? Most of them initially didn't have that. They just had more of a traditional, like an AR barrel opening, right? So with the PCC, you're going to deal with more going to be bullet design fighting the chambering than you will with your powder bullet combo as far as reliability.
Right.
I hope that answered the PCC question.
I think so. Coned breech face. I have a 9mm barrel around here somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I think it's out the garage. But anyway. Anything else we want to cover on subsonic?
Another thing you got to worry about if you're chronographing it, if you're using like a radar, sometimes it's not going to pick up the trigger inside the radar. It's not going to pick it up. It's like I know I've been looking right now with my lab radar. I got to get the trigger that sits on the gun itself that will trigger the radar. So I've been kind of looking at
allegedly the Garmin C1 and the Rangecraft will pick up subsonic.
They will.
What about you?
So,
no problem.
That's not an issue. Shoot throughs are easy. Yeah, you could. I would take both, just to have for both, and
yeah. Ken has the C1, so.
Yep. although I haven't tested it with a suppressor specifically, but I have seen people testing subsonic loads with them several times. So the key is you just have to tell it, hey, you have to make sure that you're on the subsonic setting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's the plan. The plan is to try it first without buying the additional part or whatever. And if it runs, great, perfect. Don't need to buy anything. But I did find one of a company out of Texas that's because what you run into is it's literally just a thing. You have to either magnet it or Velcro strip it to whatever gun you're shooting. And I'm like, I don't want to put Velcro on each thing. There's one I found that's got a magnet and a pick. It's got like a 3-in-1 mounting option that you can mount either to your pick rail, M-lock, or it's got a magnet built into it that you can just like magnet to your receiver or your barrel or whatever.
Nice.
So it's only like $40
So-
and they have free shipping. So, but
So Tommy Boy 3334 wants to know about bolt bounce.
I'm not sure what he's referring to.
So what he's talking about is, say your bolt slams backwards and then is moving at such a speed that it slams forward, but it's going at fast enough of a speed or slow enough of a speed so it doesn't lock up, it bounces off.
Okay. I don't know if you deal with that so that's going to be your and it's going to be your buffer.
It's going to be more of your buffer.
Yeah, that's you need a heavier buffer.
Or if you're running a straight blowback, then it's going to be your recoil spring.
No, you still use a buffer spring. Direct blowback in an AR platform, you're using the same buffer as you would with a standard 223. There is no difference.
Sorry, while the radio's going off.
So, as I was saying before basically you're using the same buffer as you're using with a standard AR, Mike. There's no difference.
Okay.
The difference is what weight. Are you running a rifle? Are you running a carbine buffer? Are you running a rifle buffer? What's the weight of the buffer you're running?
Yeah, that's something I might have to look into for like my Gordon carbine build. The can that's on it is a totally basically 1980s, 1990s technology. It's full back pressure. All the gas is going to come straight back. So what people are doing is they're putting a heavier buffer, like an H2 buffer in that's going to
You should
slow.
have an H2 in it already.
I think it's, I don't know what's in
That's
there.
all I buy is H2s.
Well, whatever. I'll see what's in my kit. If not, I can get one for $45 right now at the shop. So, but what that does, that slows down that cyclic rate to prevent the gas from getting in the face. A lot of people say, "Oh, you got to do this." It's like, okay, how many people are shooting indoors? Are a lot of people shooting indoors? Yeah, the air is going to circulate differently, and so outside, and the gas is going to sit around. You're shooting outside, that gas will mitigate a lot better. Should mitigate a lot better off the action. Plus, I'm not left-handed, so I don't worry about that gas right in my face.
Well, it comes to your charging handle.
Yeah, but there's ways around to fix that.
So I only run the JP silent capture spring in all my guns. It's one of those things that I didn't realize how much noise those springs make until I had a silent capture spring. And oh my God, it was worth it. And they're adjustable. So if I wanted to add weight, I could simply. So this is tungsten. I think it's tungsten, and then aluminum. And if I wanted to increase the weight on this, I can do this. I also could adjust the spring to a heavier spring.
So root vegetable, whoever that is, said I look like I shoot really weak loads. Thank you. And then, excuse me, Tommy Boy said he took a 10-ounce buffer, bored the center out, and added 2 ounces of lead shot to act like a dead blow. And then he said a AR PCC needs a buffer that uses movable weights.
That is not necessarily true because my first buffer spring from or buffer from Arrow that came with the gun was, now it was a different buffer weight. It was actually bigger than a standard AR buffer, the weight itself, but it was no different than as far as the shape was different for that, but it was a standard just set in the spring buffer, just like your regular AR buffer. So it doesn't have to have the removable adjustable weights. I mean, I would recommend it. But it's not required.
Okay. Excuse me. But there's a lot of different buffer systems out there you can get for them.
Yes. And there are other silent capture style springs. I just run the JPs.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's other guys that swear by other brands. These are just the ones I know. So.
And a lot of times that's what it is that's the brand they used first or maybe second, and so that's what they're swearing by.
Yep.
It is a lot of the time.
I would not run a standard buffer spring anymore. If I went somewhere else, it would, to a different style buffer. It would be a silent captioned version. I run the JPs because I know them. I like them. I've had no problems with them. They changed the way the gun behaves considerably as far as felt recoil.
Now, does that shift point of impact?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it might, but I mean, I haven't ever tested it to the point where you're probably not going to see much of a point of impact, because generally by the time the buffer's starting to really truly affect the point of impact, I mean, it might in that it might reduce the recoil, so you're less likely to flinch. Not that most of the things we're using this for, I would be overly worried about a shooter flinching because of actual recoil. It's not like we're shooting a 300 WSM, most people's initial flinches with the guns we're referring to is simply that the fact that the thing goes bang really loudly and startles them.
All right. Tommy Boy 3334 wants to know, is Arrow still using the bolt that does not have the extended shelf on the bottom of the face?
I don't know about their PCC bolt. I didn't buy their bolt when I bought mine, because I bought their pre-assembled. It was the upper and the lower, and you had to put them together yourself, and it didn't come with a bolt. I actually just went ahead and bought the JP bolt to begin with. So I don't know for sure.
Extended
9mm.
And I've never bought their 223 bolt, so I wouldn't know. I would have
Is he
to
talking
look
about
at
his like they're like 5.56, or he's talking the PCC bolt?
See, that's I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like the 5.56 bolt should be just their standard mil spec.
So he's probably referring to the PCC, but again, I don't know. I've never bought it, so I don't know, and I haven't looked at Arrow in years, a couple years since I've even been on their website.
Oh, PCC. Okay. Extended shelf on the bottom of the face. Must be down here.
Because I bought that one in 2020. Might have been early 21. And then I sold it to somebody else so they could use it.
Yeah, I've been hearing
I mean, I
rumors
lost it
about
in a boating
Ariel.
accident.
Oops.
Yeah.
We've been hearing, Ariel.
Well, first thing I heard was the employees don't have medical insurance. But is that the state of Washington try to play games with them? Or I don't know. Everything's pretty much out of stock on their website. So
That wasn't necessarily always uncommon, though, even
True.
before a lot of the issues. So
yeah.
I guess the question is they still advertising their builder kits there where they basically do a Cerakote job and
I haven't seen any new ones in a while. Like I would get an email. I don't get many emails from Arrow anymore. Like I was getting an email every day from Arrow Precision almost.
So it looks like the one that they have listed on the website, even though it's not in stock, looks like it does have a shelf cut out of the bottom. The only thing they show in stock on their wiper bay on their website is a Lahar 30 flash hider end cap and some cases, B5 system grip. So
Yeah, no guns. I love it. All parts.
upper receiver. Couple of M5 receivers. Competition chassis. Oh, there's a strip lower.
I heard their stag line. Weird.
Yeah, a couple of stag stripped.
Wonder if they get too far in the rabbit hole buying Stag and who's the other company they bought?
DMPS. Yeah,
Who?
DMPS, and they
DPMS?
DPMS. Yeah, yeah, they did because they were still had the. Remember when their sticker bin and all that? They had the.
No, that's PSA.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
PSA bought them.
You're right.
They bought another company. Who'd they buy? Stag and
Remington?
no, I can't remember.
Unfortunately, you can't filter by. Oh wait, I found a enhanced M-Lock handguard Gen 2. Looks like it's in stock.
There you go.
They got a 9mm barrel in stock. So there's 2 items. That's the third page of like 20 things listed. They might just be so far behind on, like you said, on contracts that they,
16.
and if they're having employee issues keeping employees because they're not providing medical or something like that, that could be hurting them too.
Yeah, that's something I saw on Reddit, so I don't know how true that is. Current truck gun is a 16-inch carbine. Flashlight, red dot, sling. 4 magazines loaded. With some body armor. Of course, I have a pistol, Glock 17 in the glove box or in the center console. That's the first go-to. that's if you got to start. Then you go to the heavy power. That's the oh crap. We are in a firefight.
Oder Paul was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he still is or not. So, oh, there he is. Paul, you want to answer Oder's question at the same time? So Paul said JP enter enhanced bolt 556 bolt 131.99. Ooh, the Army added a new hand grenade.
Who did?
The Army.
Why?
I don't know.
Unless it's some thermodynamic thing or something.
So,
Yeah, I think if I were looking at a lower end Arrow build, I probably wouldn't go with Arrow. There's too many other companies out there that are doing good jobs that you can reliably get parts from.
Yeah, Arrow's really fallen off. They used to be the cream for I would say for budget entry level. They were the best for a long time.
But you got to realize Arrow was a manufacturer
Absolutely.
for a lot of other people, and
They still are.
there may be more money in that,
Yeah.
just making parts for other people.
And it might that might allow them to get around some of the restrictions that allow them to not require them to move out of state, right?
Right.
Because a lot of people, just move to Texas, blah blah blah. And that's all well and good, but you got to find a location. You got to either transport or buy new equipment, and that stuff, transporting and buying new equipment, it's not cheap, right? The stuff that they're building, those CNC machines are $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 up machines. An inexpensive machine for them is $20,000 or $30,000.
Sure. Mm-hmm. That and the lawsuits coming back on manufacturers. If they're just making parts for people, they're down the chain.
I think that's probably why Ruger bought Anderson. Because they can really. And then if you notice that new one they released at SHOT Show is all mil spec. I'm like, okay, somebody finally figured out what people didn't like about your other ones. Me being one of them. But I'm trying to think, if you were to take and build an AR right now with, well, not say budget, but good quality on a affordable price, I'm trying to think who you would pick part-wise now.
I'm trying to think.
Radicals up there, they're decent. They're pretty good stuff.
Barrel, bolt, and trigger. That's your gun.
That's your heart of your gun, yeah.
Barrel, bolt, and trigger. Everything else don't really.
Trying to think. You could go with like a PSA build.
Yeah. I would go with a rock.
I mean, honestly, the upper and the lower, as long as they marry up well, they're less important than your barrel, your buffer setup, your bolt carrier group, your trigger. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to put a lot of money there, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, depending on what you're doing, you don't necessarily need to go with a super expensive bolt. You don't necessarily need a high-end barrel. You don't need, all of that. I mean, if you're just building a truck gun, right, that needs to be reliable, the main thing you need to have is make sure that you've got a good upper and lower that mate well together, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be this super tight tolerance, but and if you can find a company that has essentially a budget level, kind of like, hey, we're building these kind of together and we're mating them ahead of time, where you're getting the upper and lower together, that would be the way I would look to go.
Like, I know I'd probably buy a Roscoe barrel. Roscoe is one of the better barrels for the price point right now, for sure. And then the last bolt I bought off PSA is an actually quality or overrun military contract bolt, full auto. It's MP tested. It's got everything done correct. That the government you would want that the military would purchase. And it was like $50 at most. I don't even think it was that. And you're looking maybe at most $200 right there, because your barrel is only going to be about 150. That's really, like I said, that's the heart of the gun on most situations. Your bolt and your barrel. As long as that matches up, and then your receiver sets are good receiver set. Even though anymore, most of your receivers are going to be mil spec, unless you buy a flat side. But I don't see the point of a flat side really personally.
Mike, we're getting a lot of static from your end. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great options for the lower end stuff.
Yeah.
But
And a lot of times with the higher end stuff, you're not necessarily getting a lot of benefit.
No,
Right.
You're paying for the name, and that's like the shop that I go, main shop that I go to. I do all my suppressor stuff through, and they carry a lot of the high end stuff. Your Geisleys, your Daniel Defenses, your Q. Like they have a used Q Honey Badger there. They went $2,500 for them. Like there is nothing different about that gun versus that gun over there.
Buy a budget gun, put 500 rounds to it in a day. You're going to know whether it runs or
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
That's one thing I miss about Arrow Precision. I had two, I think. Well, one's an Arrow, one's a PSA. It's a 16-inch mid-length upper that had a fixed front sight gas block. I cut off the front sight block. Of course, took off the barrel first, drove the pins out, cut off the front sight block, cut off the sling stud, cut off the bayonet lug, and then mounted it on a bench grinder. Turn yourself into a low-profile gas block that is truly bomb-proof. You are not going to have any issues with that thing, as you might have potentially screws backing out of low-profile gas blocks. That is what's on my truck gun. Is a bomb-proof low-profile gas block that was an A2 front sight block.
Well, it's free floated then.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting a free floating.
Free float handguard.
Yep. Put a Midwest Industries rail on it, made in America, made in Wisconsin, actually. So even better, Midwest made. So
yeah, unless you're doing like ultra long range or match stuff, there's no reason to go out and spend $2,500 on an AR. Now I also, would be cautious of going out and buying the $500-600 one too, because there is a reason why they're $500-600. They're cutting corners somewhere,
yeah.
Right? So, and it doesn't mean you can't go and get a great $500-600 AR-15, right? It just,
it's almost going to be
cautious.
It's like buying a used car kind of thing. It might run really well. But what are you going to replace down the road? I look at it kind of. Are you going to replace, like you said, is it the gas block? Is it going to be your trigger? That's like I was at the shop yesterday checking in on some things. Guy's like, oh, my bolt pin, my extractor pin came out. I'm like, are you running an FRT? So that's the only thing I could explain, where that pin that holds the extractor bar in on a bolt, AR-15 bolt. Like, are you running FRT where it heated up and didn't shrink all the way down where that pin can just drop out? He's like, no, it's a Bear Creek Arsenal. I'm like, there's your first problem. A Bear Creek Arsenal is the bottom of the barrel anymore.
But yeah, if you're gonna save money and build a gun, I do recommend spending more money on the bolt carrier group than any other single part. Mm-hmm. And then next, I would say trigger, because the better the trigger, a good trigger will cover up some mistakes, right? And it's not necessarily about reliability. Now it's having a good trigger that will allow you to perform better in whatever task you're doing.
Yeah.
So Expo Arms from Primary Arms is actually some decent stuff too.
Yeah, I bought some rep parts. They're pretty good for the money.
Back when they were a sponsor of the show, they sent me a full upper to test out, and I put a lot of rounds down range with that thing and had good luck. So.
Yeah, and that's saying that there's a lot of good companies out there that are producing really good stuff, right? Trying to think, there's a company that I bought I cannot think of the name of them for some reason. My upper that I have for my 6-arc is was a built upper, and that's another company that does a really good job. And I just can't think of the name of them off the top of my head. So, there's a lot of good places out there where you can go out and find a good product, whether it be a part or part of a build, or whatever. Right? We could probably find 50 companies where you could buy good components at a reasonable price.
Mm-hmm. Holy cow.
Yep.
Stop.
So
Yeah, but I mean, it's a budget build.
But I've seen them burn those things down and they run forever almost.
What are you burning up?
Well, one I hear a lot about for somebody wanting, I always think the better entry level rifle anymore is Radical Firearms. Like I was looking online, they have in stock shooting surplus right now. It's a 300 blackout, 16-inch with a 15-inch handguard with B5 buttstock pistol grip for $408.
Wow.
Which is pretty incredible. You're looking at almost $100 just in furniture right there.
What I got for a 5.56?
Well, they had that 5.56. It's out of stock, but that's their Radical Patrol. That's their higher end stuff. They had them in stock for $390.91 with B5 stock. It looks like
The company I was trying to think of was Sanders Armory, by the way.
Odor. Yeah, the time changed Saturday night into Sunday, and it'll change back first weekend in November, unless they pass laws before then. But
are they seriously?
Nice they did.
No.
be nice. But what really needs to happen is the schmucks in Washington just need to be done with it. So
No, I'm saying that thing about no. You're saying about
Listen, I'd be happy with the state just deciding to do away with it.
I'm leaving it. Yeah.
yeah. But then you have the problems that they've been dealing with out west for years, which is you got Arizona on one time, and you got everybody else around them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, say, Wisconsin decides to stay on daylight savings time, and then everybody else falls back. Well, now we're on the same time as New York, and not the same time as Chicago. So,
Well, and that's Indiana was dealing that for a long time. They had areas of Indiana
they
that
were Eastern and
didn't. Yeah, I mean, there was like counties that didn't follow it and stuff like that, and the state wasn't. And finally, the whole state went to the same time, I believe.
yeah.
So here's one: 223 Wild 20-inch complete upper for $300 at Sanders Armory.
Who's the manufacturer? Does it say?
Sanders Armory. They may not make their uppers. They may use somebody else. I don't know who actually.
There's 4
makes their
manufacturers.
uppers.
Yeah.
There's four total. Arrows 1. I found all the
Cicero
forgings.
Ford,
Cicero, Keys something.
Poverty Pony used to be, but now they're owned by Ruger, and Ruger's making them.
But I mean, it could be Arrow making their upper. It could be somebody else. I don't know.
We got White Label out there too, or whatever their new name is.
So you have Anchor Heavy, which is Arrow. Known end users are Aero Precision, PSA, Olympic Arms, Midwest Industries. You have the Accurate Forging, which looks like an A and F. That's mostly known as Olympic. This one I've never seen before is Aluminum Precision.
It could be an older build.
It might be an older one. It's got
So
like an
Sanders
A.
doesn't actually manufacture. I think they don't. I mean, they don't manufacture. They just do assembly,
Who's that?
So all their parts are contracted through somebody else.
PSA?
It's Sanders.
Oh, Sanders. Yeah, Sanders is, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got Colt, which is the C, which everybody's used to. You have Cardinal Forge, which is DSA and Rock River. Cero, which is your main one you see. It's like a keyhole. Everybody calls it keyhole, is what we all call it. Delton, DPMS, Spikes Tactical, Stag, Knights Armament, Double Star, Smith & Wesson, Dale Defense, Sabre Defense, Remington, BCM, Bushmaster, J&T, which is now Double Star, and then CMMG. You have Capco, which was mainly A2 upper receivers. Armalite had one. Olvin made some for Colt. I'm trying to think. That's really the main ones.
Yeah.
They're getting into some odd ones.
Then
Then you have the Square. That's Brass Aluminum Forging Enterprise, which made BCM and Colt. And you see some of those. You see them with a star on the inside. That was a special forging run they made for BCM. I think I have one or two of those. So there's only, I think, 4 main forges that make the upper receivers anymore.
But somebody's got to do the machine work.
Yeah. So most of it's like that's what some of your companies do. Like that's probably what you see from PSA. They get in the solid forges and then they mill it out, machine it out, and same thing with BCM. They do it and they do mainly probably quality control, a lot better on their quality control and
Their specs
on it. Yep.
All right. Well, I got a package today. Well, actually, I got it yesterday, but that's the point. From EP Integrations. So I ordered up an annealer finally. And so, if I can get the cardboard out of the way, I'm doing some unboxing. So, kind of. And he gave me some koozies to give away, so we'll figure out a way to do that. Comes with the pencil tip.
That annealer seems fairly small, which is not. That's actually a. That looks smaller than my burst fire.
I think they are. I think they are a little bit smaller than the burst fire.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
It's about an inch longer than my Lyman base. So. Got some koozies. So, got your little cake pan for catching, which the keyboard's in the way, so I gotta move that.
That's nice. I sent you a catch pan.
What's that?
That's kind of interesting. They send a catch pan. Most companies
he sends everything you need besides a propane tank.
What's the difference on the Gen 2?
It's got feet built into the body.
Oh.
Like mine.
Does your main unit have feet on the bottom of it, Nick?
Yeah, I can see it from here. Right where his hand is, you can see it.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah, we both have them. We love it.
rubber feet.
Yep.
So you got your destructions right there. Yeah, you got your little pan for catching. And then in here we have, here's another can koozie as a spacer. Because I got both bottles holders, or bottle stands. So.
Oh, that's right, because he's selling them now. The stands where he uses like your standard blue propane or the big one, like your green camp propane tanks. I forgot he did that. He started coming up with the other ones, yeah.
Does he sell those separately?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
I may have to order one of those from him because I don't have a good stand for mine. Granted, it's got mine has a long enough hose. The way it sets, I can kind of set it off on the backside, but it still doesn't take those cans take nothing to knock them over.
Yeah,
Especially if you're using the and I use the not standard propane. What's the other?
Oh, map.
Map. Yeah. So I use the map, and it's that tall cylinder, and it takes nothing to knock those over.
Oh, yeah.
Not that it's a big deal, and I could lay it down on the side behind it, and I've got more than enough hose. Which actually I almost at some point may look at picking up a shorter hose, just because I turn around, I turn the gas off, and you got all that fuel that's sitting in the hose that and kind of you just kind of wait. It's not really a lot, but you're wasting it in the end. That final, and it takes that much longer to start it up and get a good fire.
I'm assuming with you running map, your run time on each case is probably almost in half, I'd say. Run map.
I don't know. I didn't really compare the times. I had the green cans and was using it, and I would say My problem was with the propane. The issue I was having was getting a consistent flame. It would fluctuate, right? And it would be too much fluctuation. And so I wasn't getting a consistent annealing. So I went with the map, and that just, I get a good,
true.
I'm sure there's fluctuation in the flame, but I can't physically see the flame dim and come back.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we get that.
That makes sense.
Because you'll get it set, and then all of a sudden that tip will grow and shrink and it fluctuates. And I've tried map.
And I found that I got a consistent, at least visible burn. I didn't actually measure temperature to see what kind of fluctuation I got.
It makes sense with the fluctuation of the flame head or the actual flame.
So I really liked the map. Worked much better for me. I was able to get. I wasn't because there were times I was watching it and going, okay, I'm adjusting the speed, going one way or the other, and so I found the map was a lot better.
And we use more map gas, like if we're working on stuff out in the garage, we use it more on projects than we do propane. So if we buy one tank or one style, it's less trying to go, hey, I need more map, I need more propane. And
out in the garage, I'm thinking about building a new holder for my torch head and running off an 18-pound bottle.
Oh, like map?
No, propane.
Oh, propane, yeah.
That's the one benefit with propane is it's easier to get larger.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not those. Right. We're going to find a dealer around
here. Damn it, Bobby! Propane is the future.
Yeah, that's one thing. I got a welder for Christmas, so we're gonna find a welding dealer around here for welding gas.
So, Mike, how do those load? What do you? So it sits in there. That's where it burns, and then.
So it burns where it's at there against that bar.
You point your tip right where that case is.
So can you fill your cases then?
So it's a nice thing about it. Super, yeah.
Let me show.
So this is adjustable here. So basically what you would do is you would set your case where you want it.
So you can adjust for your case depth. Yeah. My question would be is because it looks like the way that's set up, you have to literally put each one.
Correct.
Load it one at a time.
You do.
Yeah, that's the only down. He was working on a system. I don't know if however that's gone. I think that would come up. Well, Mike's doing that. Truth, answer your question.
If you need to load it one at a time, that's kind of. That's.
So I'm not going to be doing mass production.
No, but even if you're doing 100 rounds, right?
It goes pretty quick though. When you're doing 100, it goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
we
you
do
know, you get
because
it set
we
like
change.
this. You lock it down. And you got your spacer here. Basically, turn it on. And then figure out what your speed's going to be. Now, the catch is that you have to adjust this as well. So this adjusts out, and I didn't adjust that yet. But then it'll drop down there. And so the brass is turning as this is turning.
Mm-hmm.
So what you would want is you'd want Tempelac or something, like that to be able to make sure you're getting it to the correct temperature before you.
You can also judge that pretty much based on.
I think
how
what Todd recommends in his videos and whenever he shows it off, I think he says turn your lights off in your room. That's what we do and then have whenever you're going to batch do it, find a piece of brass in the same batch or same head stamp where it's going to be the same consistency, and you're going to use that as a waste piece. And then turn the lights off, and then that's when you start to fluctuate on figuring out your color where you want it. And then
you want it to drop right as it's starting to glow.
Yeah. That's what we always do. We keep that brass as our we call them our torch brass or our test brass.
Yeah.
So we like it because
you can also partially tell once it's done, once you've ran it down the annealing, how far down, how far down the body you're seeing color change, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's more than one way to judge really kind of what kind of anneal you're getting.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And if you've ever seen a piece of annealed or a piece of brass from a factory, right, and it's obviously been annealed, right, that's a good indicator of how much you need to anneal. Right. Yep. And so if you're coming off and your annealing is matching what you're seeing with the factory annealed brass, then you're probably in the right area.
What time is it? 8:48. No, I gotta go dig that. I don't know. I was gonna say I go grab a bottle and fire it up, but I don't remember.
We can do it next week. Well, I won't be here next week, so.
Huh?
I won't be on next week. I got my club meeting, so.
Slacker.
We'll
play around with next week. So next week, kids, we'll set this up. We'll get I'll get my bottle and we'll get her all set up and we can actually fire it up.
And I want to answer Truth's question real quick. It's like when I say I have free 300 blackout, it's 223 cases. I pick up every piece of 223-556 brass I can at the range. Because if I don't use it for 223-556, convert it to 300 blackout.
And it's not hard to find range found
that too. Anymore nowadays. You can tell reloading kind of died off for a little while because everybody was leaving everything.
Yeah. It goes in spurts.
It does. It does go in spurts, but yeah, I think we've probably picked up 300 or 400 pieces of blackout even. But it's super easy to convert it.
The only thing you have to be careful of, certain manufacturers' case wall thickness is considerably thicker. And I think you want to be it's written down. I think it's 15,000 case.
If you run Lake City, I think you're fine. I think Lake City's one that a lot of people say you can do no problem. And the Squirrel Daddy jig's a good one to get. Yep, just like running with scissors, the Harbor Freight chop saw.
That's what we use.
It is your best friend in the reloading, especially surplus cartridge reloading. It's $25-$30 and you'll use it almost forever. And we've never worn the blades out.
And you don't have to worry about it if you pick all your cases up because you can make more.
Yep. The Squirrel Daddy jig's $20. And his new one's nice. It's got a little detent in it, and it when you put it in, it locks in on the case rim or the case extractor groove. And when you put the next one in, it shoots it out.
Or if you 3D print, you can make your own.
Yep.
There's plans out there.
So,
well, in my my 6-arc brass, I'm very, very protective of that. Make sure I try to find all that. I've lost one piece so far of the 500 pieces that I have, but that's because it's all Burger, not
Oh,
Burger.
Yeah.
Lapua brass. It's 6.5 Grendel brass that I've
Yeah.
sized to for the 6-arc, because at the point where I was running it, the only option out there was literally taking and shooting Hornady factory brass and collecting that. And the problem is the Hornady factory brass was getting case head separation out of the factory loads.
Oof. Yeah, that's one thing I picked up years ago. Our local big box store had the Caldwell brass catcher that goes over your ejection port on AR. They had it clearance the hour on major sale, so I picked that up. And I'd sit on one of my main rifles, but like eventually, whenever I do build my 6-arc, that's going to be the thing. I'll bolt that over the ejection
I have
port.
a couple different ones. I like the one that attaches. It's hard plastic, attaches. I can't think of the name of it, but it attaches right to your where your magazine meets in. Attaches right on the front there. I've got the shorter one. It's because I'm only running 10 rounds through that gun at any one time. At some point, I'm going to pick up a 25 round mag for it, but that was more of a PRS type build gun, anyways. So I wasn't worried about running the bigger mags.
Yeah.
So
but
I built that to shoot from 300 to 600 yards, not mag dumping.
Oh, absolutely, I'm with you. Well, that's like going back to truth saying. You can load. I think we were loading the cheapest. We were loading 300 blackout. Yeah, of course. Like I said, free brass. Of course, primer back in the day was like 4 cents, 3 or 4 cents. Your powder charge is super low, say 10 to 15 cents at most. And if you just run a standard 150 grain, 30 cal bullet, you're down in the 15 cents if you buy them in bulk. You're like 40 cents at most.
You really that much? 10 to 15 cents? I would think it would be cheaper for the powder.
I'm just roughly ballparking. Okay. I'm probably high. On powder charge. It's probably way less than that.
It sounds high to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that
Yeah, not pulling out.
I'm right or wrong.
Not pulling it out and doing the math, calculating. Well, hang on. If we say, I can do a quick math real quick.
So you're looking at I think most of your subsonic loads were 10.5 to 12 grains of whatever.
I'm gonna go supersonic just to get a number. So I know you can get 150 grain bullets cheap. 308 ones. So 150 grain standard FMJ. You're looking at let's say 11 grains because it's kind of all over the board on charges. We'll go with an 11, which is a nice round number. Calculator 11 or 7,000 by 11. Get 663 loads per pound of powder. So let's go 54 divided by 633, 8 cents roughly.
Yeah. So
and then you can, like I said, you can get 30 cal 150 grain bullets cheap. Go 30 cal 150 grain FMJs. Mid-South 250, you're at 22 cents a piece, plus 7, 29, plus 8, 32-ish. You're at 32 cents.
You're shooting under 35 cents a bullet.
Yeah, which for 300 blackout, you're paying over $1 a round from factory.
Well, I mean, under 35 cents a bullet for any bottleneck cartridge round is
incredible nowadays, especially. And that's me even using 7 cents modern day primer cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's me just buying, like, if you buy factory second bullets or like pull down bullets, you're even cheaper. Like American Reloading, 11 cents for 308 seconds, especially just Plinken loads. Yeah. You can get down. Yeah. Like you're down below, you're about 25 cents at that point.
By the way, Nick, Mike, Ray, if you guys want to save some shipping costs and don't need it right away and you need something from American Reloading, let me know.
Well, I can go over to American Reloading.
Yeah, you're right there. So,
so if anybody needs anything, I will
this last weekend at the Steel Challenge match I was at,
what'd you do to your hand, Nick?
That's the same.
Oh, okay.
It just looks odd from the angle.
Yeah. So guys that actually work, I shot this weekend with guys that work for American Reloading. They're also part of the shooting team or whatever. So, Yeah, you being right there, then yeah, you don't have to. You can go right there. You can.
Yeah. Only downfall, it's on the
Deal
other
with
side of
it
the
direct.
metro, but 45 minutes
Yeah.
to an hour, not bad.
Yeah, but
So-
I'm able to, if I need something, I can let him know ahead of time, and he can bring it to a match for me.
Yeah, nice thing is we're also like an hour and a half, maybe 2 at most from Sedalia, where Sierra is. So with their factory outlet store, we'll go pick up my 77 grain Sierra Match Kings. I'll go pick up there. I might even do the cost comparison for like their 220 grain Sierra Match Kings. Especially just Plinken loads. So.
More pictures from Kankakee.
I saw a photo of the tornado. They're more unfortunately will be deaths, I think, to do this. Unfortunately.
American Airlines license 308 seconds for 11 cents. Wow.
I'm looking. That's the one over there, over near Lee Summit.
I got plenty.
I know we
Plenty
did.
of
We
good
got
stuff.
plenty of because we bought that. Was that 2 to 3? Was that 308? We bought that.
Both.
We did. I think we both bought 5,000 round pack.
Plus, I avoid buying.
Yeah, when I was talking with the guy that works for American Reloading, he brought brass with him. He had Norma 9mm brass primed for 9 cents. And then I think it was 5 cents for CCI aluminum primed brass. I mean, primers right now at the low end are 4.5 to 5 cents a pop, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not picking up my brass at these matches, so
Yeah.
at some point I will be buying primed brass from them, but I got way too many primers at the moment to switch over.
Yeah. Looks like the cheapest they got right now from American Reloading, 215 grain burgers for $115.
How many?
250. So not terrible. But that's what they got in stock right now.
We'll have to go on someday. Just
It's on Route 570. So
So I wanted to take a minute and talk about Patriot Patch Company. Here is this month's patch of the month.
I'd
Lucky
say it's
chip.
got to be St. Patty's themed.
Yeah.
So you got sawed-offs? On the sawed-off in the right hand?
Mm-hmm. It says, "Do you feel
it's
lucky?"
16 inches. It's just force perspective. And that's what we're going to tell the ATF.
Why not? Hey, it's SBS time. Everybody's SBS and everything nowadays. That and a
It's
Python.
possible it's 18.5 because on the Mossberg or on the Winchester SXP that I have, chopping down the barrel to 18.5 is longer than the magazine tube. Because that's the one that the guy ran the slugs through the turkey choke. So I was going to SBS it, but I don't need to SBS it. I can chop it down to 18. And it's still longer than the mag tube. If I wanted to go shorter than the mag tube, then I could go shorter than 18. So, but
Could be a competition mag tube on it too. Extended mag tubes.
yeah, so it really sticks out beyond the end of the barrel.
Some of those competitive shotgun shooters That some of they're sticking a good 1.5 2 foot beyond the end of the barrel. Have you seen?
Yeah,
some
but is
of them?
that a
It's nuts.
counterweight or is that actually a mag tube?
That's mag tube. I mean, it may not all be mag tube, but yeah, they're running extended mag tubes because they don't want to reload. And,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily want to run. That might be also open guns too, where you kind of can do whatever you want.
Probably.
Because the problem is most mag fed shotguns don't have function issues. They've had a lot of issues. There's a few of them out there that do work, but
So, Camerado has added in a couple of new options. So they have a Crusader camo now. And what was the other one he called it? I don't remember. I'll have to look. So Truth wants to know. Truth 3598 wants to know, on trying to build an AR, learning how to do it, what site or videos would you use on YouTube or Rumble would you suggest? So Brownells has a really good series.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's Caleb. Caleb's good at doing it. He walks you step by step.
I don't know who else has them out there.
That's really what the ones I say go to, because Caleb's easy to walk with, and he takes you step by step. It's pretty easy. It's.
I agree with Nick that look at the Brownell ones specifically. I mean, you can watch some other ones, but it's one of those things where everybody. It takes nothing to be an internet gunsmith, so be careful on where you're watching. So the Brownells videos are good.
I know Iraq Veteran used to have one years ago. I don't know if that got moved to their Rumble or only, or his channel died off.
Well, it's getting harder to find a lot of when they're showing you to do stuff.
Those I miss, like Johnny's Reloading Bench is gone. He was always a fun one. Those two, especially his nice long format videos. Even if you don't load that cartridge, I would still put it on just to listen to, because his voice was nice and you learned a lot of information. But yeah, Caleb over there at Brown, is it Caleb?
Where?
Yeah.
He's super knowledgeable. He's been a gunsmith. He was a gunsmith in the Army, an armor in the Army. He knows his stuff. And nice thing about the Brownells videos, they link, or they don't necessarily link to it. They give you the product ID. So say they're upper receiver vice.
Did Gavin on?
Gavin might have a video.
I think Gavin might have.
But I still like Caleb's video. I talked to Caleb multiple times.
I get frustrated with Gavin's instructional videos because a lot of times he skips stuff.
And he's a mechanical engineer, so I know how those people are. Yeah. I deal with them on a daily basis.
Oh.
But trying to think who else.
When he needs to build it, is he actually going to put his own barrel and stuff on, or is he just going to buy an upper to a lower?
I would assume build it. I mean, I'm assuming you're mounting your own barrel, torquing the barrel nut on, mounting the handguard.
Honestly, the hardest part's putting the small parts in.
That is, yeah. Especially on the lower.
And that's just more of finding people that so the small parts, the hard parts, finding somebody that can explain to you the nuances, because you're going to send springs across the room, right? Those springs are going to get away. And here's a trick, right? If you know about where the spring landed, take a flashlight, let's put it flat on the floor and shine it around the room. It'll help you spot the spring. Yeah. Okay. Guaranteed you're going to send a spring somewhere. It's just going to happen. Sorry. If you manage to build your first one without sending a spring, it's a miracle. And the next time you do it, you're going to send a spring, and it just happens to be that way. So that's going to be the hard part, finding videos that do a good job of showing you the tricks. I know there's some tools that help with that. They're not necessary, but if you want to go that route, I would not have a problem saying, go ahead, yes, do that. Order them, but they're not necessary. They're great. That's the key. The small parts are the hard part. Putting a barrel on is fairly simple. As far as timing goes, understanding how to put the spacers in to get your timing right, stuff like that.
That and then the gas block. If you're putting a low profile gas block, that's the only other I could see tricky part, making sure you're aligned to the 12 o'clock, making sure you're
Mark centers.
Yeah, that's the hardest. I would say the third hardest part probably after getting all your small parts in is.
I'll tell you the cheapest tool you can buy if you're building an AR-15. Go buy a 1/4-inch clevis pin, 1/4-inch diameter clevis pin with the series of the multi-holes, because you can put that in there. You slide your spring in, your detent, take a like a 16th inch drift punch, push that in there, turn your clevis pin. You got your
spring
detent locked. Then you put your pin on the other side and push it through, and
it locks right in.
It locks right in.
That's
And if you're really worried about that, do it inside of a 2-gallon Ziploc bag. If it does pop out, it's in the bag.
Yep.
Yeah, we've built so many. We've learned all these lessons over the years.
Wait a minute. We couldn't have those in Illinois, could we?
Okay, until 3 years ago, yes.
I had them.
Until 3 years ago, yeah, we could. That's why I moved.
So do millions of other people.
All right, so introduction to myself there, Oder. So I shoot a little bit of everything. I've shot some PRS. I've shot some F-class. By no means any kind of expert in F-class. I had the opportunity to shoot nationals here because it was locally. So I went and built a gun, shot it, didn't do very well at the match, but I had a lot of fun, and I wasn't expecting to do very well. My primary area of shooting is Steel Challenge and USPSA competition, although I don't shoot a lot of USPSA currently. So I run a lot of 22 pistol and rifle, PCC. In USPSA, I've done a fair amount of pistol shooting as well in both disciplines. So that's primarily where I'm coming from. I'm more of a shooter than a reloader. In fact, I'm the guy on this panel that goes, what's the easiest way to reload to achieve what I need to achieve? I'm not the guy that likes sitting at the bench and reloading. It's not a passion for me. It is an ends to a mean. Now I want to do it right. I don't want to skip steps that don't need to be done. There's a reason why I bought a Mark 7, and it wasn't because I wanted the most expensive press I could possibly get. It was because I wanted to load high volume and low stress. I had started with a Frankfurt Arsenal X10 as far as my progressive. I had too many problems being able to load at high volume and getting it to prime correctly. Honestly, so I still have the X10. I'm planning on using that for rifle, non-priming rifle prep, right? So I might use it to deprime and size and do all that stuff. And I won't do my final loads will be done on a single stage press as far as priming and all that. But a lot of times when I'm doing the rifle stuff, specifically, I'm going for higher end accuracy versus being able to do volume. So there, the slower process makes sense. I think that covers most everything I need to know. I'm out of Wisconsin. I'm 5 minutes from Mike's, 10 minutes, depending on traffic.
2 miles as the crow flies.
Yeah, that's probably 3, but yeah.
You can have our old receiver that couldn't catch the football. He signed with you guys today. I don't know if you saw that, Mike.
So I'm a Denver Broncos fan. So
no. I really don't like you then.
Yeah.
I really don't like you.
Listen, I grew up in Michigan. There was a good chance I was going to be a Detroit Lions fan. Thank God. And I thank God every day that I did not turn out to be a Lions fan. So I really started paying attention to the NFL during John Elway's first Super Bowl loss. So,
Mike, I'm going to be up in your area in July, up in the Milwaukee area. I'll maybe try to hook up with you two and do lunch or something while I'm up there.
that's good.
Sounds like a plan.
All
If
right.
you go to Titan, you're gonna be driving near there.
Yeah.
Titan's like right
I drove by Titan on Saturday.
there.
Okay, I might do that. Yeah. I'll let you know a week or so out, or when I'm going to be up in that area. Maybe we can come up with something.
Sounds good.
Did you see what Lee is doing now?
No.
They are doing die sets, full length sizer, and then the cedar has their micrometer already built onto it. And it's about the same
Nice.
price, about $35-$40.
Ooh.
I
know,
think
like,
you're going
I
to
don't-
see more and more companies just include the micrometer.
It's
on
just
them.
silly not to. It's the way to go.
Yep.
See, even if you have to bump the price up a little bit, people are going to pay that because it's not a whole
yeah.
other die they have to buy.
I'm surprised we're not seeing more sizing dies with micrometers.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get it. The number of
You wanna bump
times
your
where I'm
shoulder
setting
back.
up a sizing die and I'm trying to get the bump, and it's like, okay, turn it just a little bit. Oh, damn, too much, and you're barely moving it, right? Whereas if you could, be able to bump that, just do a click,
Yeah.
right? We know that's a hundredth, or a thousandth, whatever, would be nice,
Mhm.
but.
You could do that with a dial indicator, but setting it up.
You know what I will do is I will tell out to Joel. I'll throw it out to him, give it to his engineers.
Yeah.
Something that could be new that they could bring to the industry next year.
There you go.
And you're not talking much for them to do.
Well, they already do.
But it's just coming up with something that sits on the seat on the sizing die.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Joel and have lunch with him hopefully soon anyway. So
There's somebody out there that has a lock die. Wooden Gunworks. He's got a lock die that you can do that with.
yeah, that makes sense.
Or a lock screw. Or lock
The-
ring.
Yes. So I have on
I haven't even been
I have
drinking.
the
That's the worst part.
coax. I have the coax. It's a lock ring that's indicated, but
Yeah.
it's judging how much. The problem is I still have to loosen it up. I have to turn it, and then I have to get it to not move.
That's
I'm
the
trying
thing
to
I
tighten it
never
back
did
up.
like about the Forester, the lock. There's the nuts, the lock nuts, or the
Yeah.
things that had the little tick marks.
So Area
You have to loosen it
419
to turn it.
makes Area 419 makes a really nice Forester coax lock ring that is awesome, right? The problem is it's never in stock,
Yeah.
right? Or the one time I saw it in stock, I got the email saying, "Oh, it's back in stock." I wasn't in a position at that moment to just order them. So, yeah. Which, by the way, the Area 419s are the same ones that they use for their new press. It's the same lock ring that they use now.
So Raggle Fraggle also said in the Discord chat, he said the Dillon CP2000 has a setup that is excellent for doing a lot of brass converting to 300 blackout.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people do that want to spend it because you can buy the actual like automated trimmer.
Yeah.
Dylan makes that. I didn't want to. I don't do that much of it, or if I do, especially you get the new Squirrel Daddy thing, you can cut brass super quick. That's got that detent.
Yeah,
You
but
set a box up.
thousands and thousands and thousands.
You can still go pretty quick.
Yeah, but we enjoy making a couple hundred rounds. Some people,
Yeah.
they went thousands and thousands.
Well, I'll do probably about my next batch of 9mm will probably be 2,000 rounds, right? But that 2,000 rounds is 2 months worth of ammo, if that.
Yeah.
Right. and it really depends on how much what I'm shooting and what I'm shooting, right? So a lot of times I default to the 22 just because it's so much cheaper to shoot.
Yeah.
But it's really not that. I mean, it. So one of the problems I've had, and some people may not have realized this, the company Aguila ammo. They sell 22 ammo. That's what I ran almost exclusively last year through my rifles. I couldn't find it this year. I reached out to Aguila and said, "Hey, I've been trying to find your ammo, and I can't find it in stock." And the first email response was, "Well, our specialty stuff isn't shipping." Like, okay, I'm not looking for specialty stuff. I'm just looking for your high velocity stuff, right? This is not specialty ammo. We're not running, your super target or running some kind of, whatever, right? And the response was, "We're not shipping anything right now. Reach out to me mid-March."
What?
And I'm like, wow, okay, so they've got something going on with Aguila, and I don't know what it is. It might just be they're having problems shipping to the United States, right? Something's going on with that, right? Maybe they lost their U.S. distributor because Aguila is not an American brand.
Mexican.
Yes. So I, obviously at that point, I've been having all kinds of issues with CCI. I've had multiple guns with CCI using Minimag, right? And that used to be the gold standard for 22 shooting, specifically for any kind of speed shooting, right? So you needed to run a semi-automatic 22 where you're speed shooting. You went with CCI. Well, I ordered a 5,000 CCI and had two different. Well, my pistol for a long time ran it just fine. Then all of a sudden it wasn't liking something. I think it might have been the pistol and not the ammo. But my JP22 hated it. Now, I have heard through the grapevine that the JP22 tends to not like the CCI mini mags. I've heard other people that have had problems with it. So ran that, had issues, tried CCI and a different one. This year I have changed from a Ruger Mark IV style. One was a Ruger Mark IV. The other pistol actually was the upper was Tactical Solutions or Taxol. It's kind of a Taxol fits between Ruger and Volquartsen as far as they kind of, you got Ruger, which is the lower end. You got Volquartsen, which is the higher end. And then you've got Taxol. And they also the Taxol also matches up real well with Tandem Cross as far as that goes. Although Tandem Cross, I think, kind of prices themselves in the Volquartsen area. So I was having issues, right? And so I had to switch it. Well, trying to find something in stock. And I was finding a lot of your part of it is I want high velocity, not standard velocity. So finding anything like federal high velocity was getting hard to find. So finding just the high velocity ammo. Now I could find lots of standard velocity ammo. That was not a problem. I'd probably be just fine with it. So I ended up going with Ely this year because I know that the availability has been consistent for years as far as their non-special, super high specialty, right? I know some of the guys that shoot PRS and F-class 22 or Bullseye 22, they're looking for their long range stuff or whatever, their match, their target, right? So that availability has been a little bit less. So that's one way. So I've been shooting a lot less, but because Ely is a little more expensive, we're talking about 11 cents a pull. Now the 15 cents or so, 15, 16, 17 cents that I'm paying for my reloads, not so much difference in price. Whereas before I was paying 6 cents every time I pulled the trigger versus, so I was 10 cents difference, which was an extreme difference. So I will probably be shooting a lot more centerfire this year than I did last year, just because of the economics and with primers coming down in price, it makes shooting, high volume centerfire pistol a lot a lot easier to do because that was my single. Well, I think that was the single most expensive, but honestly, bullets really weren't that much cheaper. We were maybe 1 or 2 cents. So, I mean, at last year, I would think I was loading at 22 cents a pull. Which, you know, a lot of people at that point, I could have bought white box stuff for 14 cents. Right. But with primers coming down, I think I'm at about 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I tended not to pay for bullets because I just use my Cabela's points for bullets when I need them. So.
All right. Well, it is 9:21, so we should probably wrap this up here. So, if you want to support the show and become a Patch of the Month Club member, swing over to firearmsradio.net/category/podcast/reloading-2. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click on the red support button and go over to Patreon and sign up to be a Patch of the Month Club member. Or you can sign up on YouTube or on Rumble. Same, and do that way and become a Patch of the Month Club member. If you want to get one of these cool shirts or tumbler or sweatshirts, you can head over to firearmsradio.net/category/podcast/reloading-2 and click on the merch button. Takes you over to Southern Gals Crafts where you can order those. So we thank everybody for that. If you're looking for camouflage, like I was saying earlier, camorado.com. Sean's added a couple of new camo patterns, plus he's got all the other ones. So and that's about it for tonight. So on that note, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Millsirp short bus.
Teach them to shoot and reload when they're young.
Take somebody to the range when you go.
Most importantly, support the Second Amendment. Support the Second Amendment organizations, and make sure you're paying attention to your elected representatives. It's a lot easier to elect the right people than it is to elect the wrong people and then take the stupid ass bills they create to court. So make sure you're also checking in on your friends and neighbors. Keep an eye on them. If you know somebody who's struggling and they're really bad, 988 or 1-800-273-8255. If they're just struggling and they don't just not trying to fit, they don't really know what to do. I can see if they've got EAP through their work. Have them check that. Otherwise, Walk the Talk America's got some good resources to get you started. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Night.
Good night.
Night.